Welcome to the Daily Grind. On this episode, we're going to talk about some history that the mainstream media probably isn't going to talk about. It's the history of the Democrat Party. But before we get into anything, I got kind of a funny story for you guys. So last week, I was coming home from work. I thought I deserved a nice cold brewski after a nice hard day's work. I stopped at the store on the way home. I was in the mood to drink some skunk piss, so I looked for Heineken. Looking. I don't see it. But then I see Heineken 00. So I think, shit, why not? Heineken 00, probably like 0 calories. Checked out, didn't get ID'd like I usually do. I'm like, oh, cool. Maybe I look old. Maybe it's the gray that's starting to show on my beard. Then I get home, I go to open one. Open it, take a drink, and it didn't taste right. So I looked at the bottle. Heineken 00. Zero alcohol. I got okie doke. That's enough of my stupidity. Let's talk about what we came here to talk about. Let's take a trip back in time to April 12th, 1861. At 4:30 a.m. on April 12th, 1861, Confederate troops fired on Fort Sumter in South Carolina's Charleston Harbor. Less than 34 hours later, Union forces surrendered. Traditionally, this event has been marked as the beginning of the American Civil War. So Confederate troops, the Confederate States of America, attacked Fort Sumter to start the American Civil War. Who was the president of the Confederate States of America at the time? Well, that's this fleabag right here. Jefferson Finis Davis. The Jefferson Davis party was, can you guess? Democratic. Why is this important? The start of the Civil War by the Democrats is important. The Confederacy, or Confederate States, which was the southern states, run by Democrats, wanted to assert their authority over the federal government so they could abolish federal laws they didn't support, especially laws interfering with the South's rights to keep slaves and take them wherever they wished. There you have it. The southern states, led by Democrat Jefferson Davis, were mad because the Republicans tried to take away their slaves, so they started a fucking war. After the third year of this Civil War in the states, started by the Democrats, President Abraham Lincoln, president of the northern states, or the Union, issued the Emancipation Proclamation on January 1st, 1863. This proclamation declared, quote, that all persons held as slaves within the rebellious states are and henceforward shall be free. I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of all the Civil War crap, but the point I'm trying to make is the Democrats started it because the Republicans wanted to end slavery. And Abraham Lincoln, a Republican president, did end slavery. And now we're in April of 1865. Confederate General Robert E. Lee surrendered his troops to Union General Ulysses S. Grant. The North won. No more slavery. Sorry, Democrats. And they're still fucking mad. Today, the Democrats are still mad at the Republicans. Is it because we took your slaves away?
But wait! There's more!
Yes, thank you. There is more. And what more do we have? Let's see. The American Civil War ended in April of 1865. Let's go to Christmas Eve of 1865, December 24th, 1865. A group of former Confederate soldiers, and the Confederacy was ran by who? Democrats. Yes, you were correct. We already learned that. These former Confederate soldiers who fought for the Democratic Confederate President Jefferson Davis established what would become the first chapter of the Ku Klux Klan, or KKK, in Pulaski, Tennessee. The Klan's first leader, called the Grand Wizard, was former Confederate Lieutenant General Nathan Bedford Forrest. The KKK grew into a secret society terrorizing black communities and seeping through white Southern culture. So far, in our history lesson, the Democrats have 1. Started a civil war over the fact that the Republicans didn't want them to have slaves. 2. They all put on fucking dunce caps, listened to some asshole called a Grand Wizard, and started a little secret club. But they're not done yet. They said, "Hold my fucking beer!" By 1877, the Democratic Party controlled every southern state. The South remained a one-party region until the civil rights movement began in the 1960s. Northern Democrats, most of whom had prejudicial attitudes towards blacks, offered no challenges to the discriminatory policies of the Southern Democrats. Jim Crow and Jim Crow laws. Jim Crow is the name of the racial caste system which operated primarily but not exclusively in southern border states between 1877 and the mid-1960s. Jim Crow was more than a series of rigid anti-black laws. It was a way of life. Under Jim Crow, African Americans were regulated to the status of second-class citizens. Again, this was ran in exclusively southern and border states. Well, southern states ran by, remember, fully Democrats until the mid-1960s. Do what you want with this information. I'm trying to give it to you as non-biased as I can. It's just funny, the party that's pushing all this Black Lives Matter stuff in the summer of love where stuff gets looted and destroyed, we're the ones that started a war and shit over slavery. Let that sink in. I'm not trying to swing you one way or the other, but history doesn't lie. Thanks for watching.